on Monday nights. I did that talk on Healing Happens at the 60 Plus Activity Center, which is really awesome. I was also interviewed online a couple times about imagination and healing for an upcoming program in Denver that I'll be speaking at called Imagination IQ.
Awesome. Anybody else want to report on a speech? Okay. We have two people that are going to be doing their introductions today. We're excited about that. As far as next week we have a contest that we're doing for our international speeches. The one person that is really that I know of at this point that's really interested in competing can't be here next week. So is there, and I know Dave wants to give a speech. Is there anybody else that wants to participate in that contest? We'll also open it up for folks that are online as well. I know you can't compete at our area contest, but we have one speaker that's going to be in-house. And so if somebody would like to participate and be involved in that, if you want to send me an email, then we can try to get you into the schedule as well, because we're doing this is only a speech contest. Do we have anybody that wants to be involved in the evaluation contest? Linda says she wants to. No. So we won't be doing any evaluation contest. So there'll be time to be able to do probably 4 speeches. And so please email me during the week. We'll get you into that. Dave, yes?
I would compete in both.
Okay. Okay. So we have Dave that's going to be competing in the evaluation portion, so he can do both. So send me an email if you'd like to be involved in both the evaluation and the speech side, and then I'll get that out to everybody as to who we have scheduled to do speeches, and then if we're going to have an evaluation portion of the contest as well. Any questions on that?
Okay. I think I can confirm. What date are you talking about?
This is next week.
So that's going to be the meeting next week.
Correct. So next week, what we'll be doing is we do a contest to see who we send to the area, and then whoever wins or goes to that will continue on to the division and into the districts and onto the world. Dave actually competed on the world for competition level. So we have at least one in our midst that has made it all the way to the world, which is pretty exciting. So, okay, as far as the schedule, please go online and sign up for your roles. We have the contest next week, and then the week after we have the first time that our princesses are going to be here, which will be pretty exciting. And so we need to start getting some people assigned to do to help with the princesses as well. So please send me an email if you want to be involved in that. I know that we have a couple people we've talked to about maybe being involved in doing that. And so let me know if you want to be involved in that part too. And then what's going to happen is they will actually come back and compete again. Not compete, but they'll give a speech again 1 month later, and we'll take a look at how much they've improved and try to help them with that. We looked at how they actually get their scholarship, and it's 100% based on the speech. So it's pretty important. And so we would ideally like to get people to help them with their speeches, and then have maybe even some of the same people there for the next one again in March to do that, so that we can have those people helping these young girls with their contest.
if you want to know more about the princesses themselves, I do have that up on our Facebook page with their biographies of who they are and pictures of them with their ribbons, not that you can actually see their names, but I did list it in order of who they are.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, well, with that, we're going to move forward with our meeting. Ruth is our Toastmaster of the day. I am so excited that we have a good connection so that we can be able to really fulfill her role and everybody will be able to participate. This will be so cool. So without further ado, please help me welcome Ruth as our Toastmaster of the day. Ruth.
Thank you, Mr. Sergeant-at-Arms. I'd like to briefly go over the agenda, make sure we're all on the same page. I will be the Toastmaster today. Linda will be speaker 1 with Brian Norris being her evaluator. Christina will be speaker 2 with Brian H. being her evaluator. Lauralee will be serving as grammarian. Dave will be serving as the exciting table topics master. Svetlana will be our timer, and Avital will be our general evaluator. Is that correct? All right. Let's move straight into our prepared speeches then. Do we have any guests today, I should say? Welcome, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, future Toastmasters. Linda will be speaking today, and you'll talk amongst yourselves in a moment while I grab her evaluation. Oh goodness, so far, so far. Well, I had them printing out and they did not print out, so it's going to be just a moment while I can retrieve those. If we can talk about things we love to hate while that's happening. Technical difficulties is one of the things I love to hate.
I do have her evaluation if you'd like me to give.
Do you? That would be wonderful. Let's start with that.
Certainly. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And now I have a bite of food in my mouth too. But I will be the evaluator. And so some of the points that we'll be taking a look at will be what strong points does the speaker already have? As well as how did the audience get to know the speaker? And that's the important part of the icebreaker, is getting to know the speaker. I think of anything on here, that's probably the most important. Did the speech adequately reflect preparation? Did the speaker talk clearly and not rushing to a talk? And then we can also comment on uses of notes and those types of things. And so this will be a 4 to 6 minute speech, and it will be Linda Haggerty as our icebreaker.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Welcome, everyone. 6 minutes is a very short time. This amazing view I choose to see. At age 32, I had everything that I was told growing up would bring me happiness. I had 3 healthy, beautiful children, a loving husband, and a job with the Postal Service. I was also living in a brand new house full of new furniture and driving a brand new van. Yet with this, I was still missing something. I felt I had another reason for being here. I believe that we intentionally choose for our divine essence to inhabit a human body. Why would I willingly choose to come to this human world full of death, human destruction? I was seeing horrific human behavior on the news every single day. I wanted to know why bad things happen to innocent children and good people. I needed to know why I was sexually abused and neglected throughout my childhood. How could the people who loved me and were supposed to protect me hurt me? I was awakened so often in my preteens by some male pawing my private body parts that my automatic response to being touched while asleep was to wake up swinging my fists. The night my 5-year-old son Ian touched me to wake me up and I decked him, I knew I had to figure out why I had been abused. Along with this, at the same time, I was experiencing an overwhelming fear of death. I was told that I would burn in hell if I was bad or committed any sin. If this was true, I was surely doomed for all eternity with my life choices and my experiences up to this point. The first help I received, also, I had a very profound experience with this protecting love that guides and warns us. At the beginning of this particular week, pardon me, distraction. The Tidewater Post Office has books that you could borrow out in the outer lobby. And one of my customers came into the retail counter and said that the books were spread out all over the floor. When I went out to pick them up, one book was off by itself. This book was Closer to the Light by Melvin Morris, Paul Perry, and Raymond A. Mitchell. It was about children's near-death experiences. Their descriptions of this love and acceptance they experienced completely released my fear of death. I recommend you reading it. Also, there's something else. This is the icebreaker, correct?
And you're doing great.
Maybe they'll come back to me. Because there was another experience I was going to talk about that has shown that I am loved, protected, honored, guided, and accepted by God, which I have learned is not a man or woman, but this great originating dimension where pure, all-inclusive, complete healing, unconditional love, deep peace, and pure consciousness creates all things and knows everything. It knows even more than Google. My research through books like The Introduction to the Human Body by Gerard J. Tutora has taught me that our human physical bodies are constructed with a propensity toward addiction and the ability to be programmed into false beliefs like burning in hell for being totally human. That's it. And negative behaviors and patterns. This is why the people I love can hurt me and do hurt me. I chose to have this human being experience a lifetime. I get to feel, acknowledge, honor, release, and love through every human emotional, mental, and physical event as it unfolds each moment in my life. I am this pure, all-inclusive, complete healing love and pure consciousness, deep peace. We all are. I get to exercise my divine gift of free will to choose to hold anger, hate, and disappointment, or love, forgiveness, and compassion for those people who hurt me. The view I choose to see and hold is love, forgiveness, and compassion, which brings more love, forgiveness, and compassion back to you. Being this human example of owning and applying this tremendous love point of view is why I'm here. This is the reason I came. My biggest gift in doing this is getting to have this beautiful love relationship with Brian. He is my true love. In 2010, I finished my book, The Amazing View I Choose to Receive, which goes into more detail about questions I asked and answers I received. May you all, always receive, understand, embrace, and express your own loving truth you choose to see. Thank you. Sorry, the y'all coming in totally.
She's just muted. Try again, you're
You're
muted.
muted.
Oh,
There we are.
She's
Perfect.
fine now.
she's fine now. She's muted. She's not muted. Our next speaker is Christina. Her evaluator is Brian H. Brian, do you have Christina's objectives? And I do have her introduction. So
It's the same.
I made some notes, so
It's the
yes.
same one, right?
people,
Yeah, it's icebreaker, so it's the same.
Yeah, it's not icebreaker.
Brian,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes,
He's coming.
Okay, do you have Christina's objectives?
yes.
Okay,
She was saying, do you want to
Oh, she wants to read them.
yes, if you could read them.
I get it. We're supposed to be looking for the strong points that she already has. We want the speech, the icebreaker, to make sure that we all know the speaker. We want to look for preparation, and we want to make sure that she's speaking clearly.
Thank you, Brian. What is her time?
4 to 6 minutes.
Okay, Christina is going to be speaking from the Pathways. She's doing her Pathways Icebreaker in Visionary Communication. She's a facilitation guru with passion for helping others go beyond their perceived boundaries. Her experience in multiple industries allows her facilitation and training to be multifaceted and adaptable to any client. She has a habit of jumping right in without fear and is intuitive on how to help get a group moving. Please welcome Christina Bach.
And it's book.
Book.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Experiential education. You might ask, did I say experimental? Indeed, I did not. It's experiential. It's an adjective meaning involving or based on experience and observation. I'm Christina, and I am an experiential educator and team development consultant. The core of what I do and why I do it stems from my own interactions of learning through doing. Today, I want to share with you why experiential education is important to me, a little bit about what it is, and what I do with it. So I struggled in school with the lectures and the PowerPoints, the note-taking, the written tests. It just didn't seem to work for me, and the knowledge just didn't seem to stick. But with the right teachers and a collaboration with my parents and other community members, we were able to create activities outside of the classroom that made learning interactive and fun. This method is completely based in experiential education, and it's what got me interested in learning. So my saving grace in high school was this incredible class called Adventure. It took place on the ropes course every day for an entire semester. With my classmates, we solved problems, we learned how to reflect on what we experienced and how we could take those experiences and apply them to the next thing. We learned how to hold the safety of our peers in our hands and in our sight as they walked across poles and cables 30 feet in the air. These students were authentic. They pushed you, they celebrated with you. They would listen to what you have to say, they would let you lead and let you follow. For the first time, there was a level of acceptance of my entire being. In some cases, you could say, I found my people. And I cherished this. My senior year, I had no doubt that facilitating, leading, and providing these similar experiences to others was something I was passionate about and something I wanted to do for my entire life. This adventure class and lots of other experiences are rooted in experiential education. We learn most of the most basic things through experience, through sight, through touch, through listening, smelling, speaking, and of course, doing. Through these interactions, we gain awareness of what works and what doesn't work. Think of how a baby learns to talk or walk. It's trial and error in many cases. So as early as the 4th century BC, experience as a tool in the creation of knowledge and fostering human development was finally recognized. But it wasn't until the 1900s that learning through experience became valued in traditional education. So learning is a multidimensional process. You're leading from experience to observation, to reflection, to generalizations, and then to testing in a new experience. So it's cyclical. Some professionals and educators who use experiential education who you might be familiar with include Maria Montessori, or Kurt Hahn, or Miles Horton. So, with all of this knowledge, with a bachelor's degree in recreation in my pocket and a master's degree in experiential education, I continued working for various companies using experiential learning and training to focus on group and individual development. I facilitated on high and low ropes courses and a variety of portable team development programs in the United States and around the world. Now I am a consultant affecting experiential change on the world, or so is my hope. I work with groups and facilitators, helping them recognize ailments that they may have, having teachable moments that address these ailments, then creating space for reflection and action for transferable actions for group success. Experiential education is not easy, it is not passive, and it takes a lot of time. Think about going to the gym. You want to look a little bit better, you set a goal, I'm gonna go a couple times, and then maybe it doesn't quite stick. But if you can commit to consistently going for multiple sessions over multiple weeks, it's more likely to create a habit, and it's more likely to see actual change. The same is true for team development. So I invite each of you to invest in the groups that you are a part of and your own development, and continue to do that development, just as I have done in the groups that I'm involved in and the work that I do in my field. So today, I shared with you a little bit about experiential education, how it related to me, and how I use it in my work. I hope that you will take the opportunity to experience and create the space and time to reflect on what you experience and learn from it. Always learn from it. Like I'm doing as a new member in this speech. I leave you today with a quote by Confucius. I hear, I know, I see, I remember, I do, I understand. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Christina, thank you so much. Hopefully the high ropes courses won't be involved in any of the Toastmasters exercises that we're doing. No. Yeah, at least give me advanced warning. Next, we go into the area of our meeting where we learn to speak in impromptu settings, the table topics area. I was interested to see that your contests were table topics and international, because in our district it's opposite. It's our evaluation and international, because in ours it's table topics and international. So that was something that I learned today, something I experientially learned. Dave, do you have an awesome session of table topics planned for us today?
Well, I hope so.
Excellent. Let's welcome Dave.
My theme today is Whoppers. And that's not just a sandwich you can get at Burger King. But a Whopper can be a tall tale or any exaggerated story. It doesn't necessarily have to be a lie, but often it is. It should be some kind of a fun story that uses extreme exaggeration to make the point. I'm going to give you an example, one of my favorites. I like to fish a lot. When I go fishing, sometimes I don't catch anything. No fisherman ever likes to quit having not caught anything. We call that getting stumped. Nobody wants to do that. I had one day where I'd been fishing for about 4 hours and I hadn't even had a fight. I had lost several of my rigs in the river that I was fishing, and I was at a point where I had run out of sinkers and I still hadn't caught a fish. I'm trying to think, what am I going to do? I can't go home without a fish. I got to thinking, and I had brought out my key ring, and I found an old car key that I didn't have anymore. And I decided, well, it wouldn't hurt to use that car key, and I hooked that car key up, and I cast out And in no time at all, I had something on the line and I pulled it up. That was 1957 check. Okay, that's a Whopper. That's the kind that's not true. But, and Jaylene, would you give us a Whopper of your choice? Too many honest people here.
Yeah, that's my trouble. I'm not so good with that. Okay. I don't know. I really.
I will give. There's one other tip to table topics. You just have no idea that I can't tell a Whopper or anything else. You just talk about what you want to.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Here's a Whopper. Thank you. I don't know all these formalities. Mr. Topics Master. All right. So here's my Whopper. Let's see. I was riding my motorcycle in southern Patagonia, and it was our final day as we were getting ready to arrive in Ushuaia, the southernmost city in the world. And this is what we had traveled for about 17 months at that point, riding our motorcycles. And on that final day, we woke up in the morning, it was raining and it was cold, and we geared up with our electric gear and hit the road anyway. And we were committed to making it all the way to Ushuaia that day. Even though it was a long day's ride, it was about 6 or 7 hours in that cold and rain. And we arrived. We arrived that day, and it happened to be New Year's Eve, which we had not planned on. And it was very exciting, and we wanted to go out for a big celebration on New Year's Eve. And so we went out on the streets of Ushuaia, and guess what? Everything was closed because they celebrate New Year's Eve with their families. They don't go out and party. So we ended up having to pay about $60 US dollars for a dinner of pasta and a little bit of, chicken, something like that. And of course, the obligatory 3 glasses of champagne. But we celebrated in Ushuaia, Argentina. And that's my Whopper story.
And I think we'll give Tom a chance. Tom, do you have a Whopper you can share with us?
Well, first of all, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So my Whopper is a walking Whopper. I'm walking. And so I just love to walk. I'm like Forrest Gump. I can walk to the ends of the earth. I can walk to the moon and back. I can walk
Yeah, these are
all the way. You put it in the conveyor belt, it grows the meat. You put the bun on the other conveyor belt, it toasts the bread. 4 pickles, concentric spring of ketchup, 3 slices of onions, mayonnaise on the top, lettuce, and 2 slices of carrots. That's another Whopper for you. Tasty? Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you for trying, Tom.
Do you not hear me?
you now.
So you didn't hear my story?
Some of it.
We heard part of it.
Well, so much for technology. I guess walking doesn't work then. So I'll give it to you again. I am a walker. I can walk to the ends of the earth. I can walk from sky to sky. I can walk all the way to Elon Musk's great Tesla in the sky. And so, my fellow Toastmasters, you have a Whopper of a walker with you.
So does the Toastmaster summarize in your club?
What did you say?
Does the Toastmaster summarize in your club?
No.
No? Or does the table topics person summarize?
Or summarize what?
What?
What we heard in table topics?
No, it's not a summary.
Okay, all right then. Topic master it is, or table Toastmaster it is. The third part of our meeting is the general evaluation portion, the part where we hear positive, productive feedback on the prepared speeches that we've had, and also on the times that we've kept, and the word of the day, which I don't think we actually had a word of the day, so if someone gives it to me, I'd be more than happy to use it.
I
So-
got it.
I don't know what it was.
So the word
It's too late.
Cherish and
Cherish?
there we go.
Yeah.
And
Okay, awesome.
the other thing that I look for is ums and ahs.
Well, I will give you an and an ah then. You're not wanting them. I'm so confused about that. I love to cherish my ahs. So there, I them in. So our general evaluator, Avital, will come forward and she will join us in this particular part of the cherished tradition of evaluating. Avital?
Great. Are you asking me to introduce the evaluators?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I believe Brian Norris, are you evaluating the first speech with Linda? Come on. All right, and Brian is our fearless club president. We're going to be giving him a golden parachute for how well he manages the smoothness of this group.
Well, thank you. Linda, how I cherished your speech. What a great, strong presence and good confidence. I know that the first speech, a lot of times we feel a lot of jitters in ourselves, but as you were here and you were able to be in charge, and it was very nice. You did a great job. As far as did the audience get to know you better? I believe we did. In fact, I think that we really felt your love and your passion for life. At least I did. And so, yes, I got to know you a little bit better. And you definitely did some adequate preparation for the speech. Did you speak clearly? And, you know, there's a few times in there where you were kind of fumbling around, and that's okay. But yes, you had great animation. When you grabbed and you were like, yes, I am doing this type of a thing. You had great projection. And you had a nice variation of your speech, of your speaking. So you had the nice pitch and the nice tone. You had a very strong opening. That was very good. As far as some suggestions, I know, and this is, you know, I've used little cards before, and sometimes it's nice to have it. You really need it, but sometimes those little cards are really hard. So if I'm feeling, sometimes if I come up to give a speech, sometimes I'll even have it maybe only 4 or 5 points, but they're a nice 16-point or 18-point where I don't need my glasses, and if I have multiple pages, I'll put a number at the top, because I've been places before where I go to give a speech and all of a sudden it's on the ground, or I'm at a park or something in a park setting and the wind blows it off or something. And so then I have to, excuse me a moment, pick it up, and then I can quickly put it right back into order where I'm at. But that's just a suggestion, because it is hard to find those little things on the little note cards. Absolutely enjoyed getting to know you, feeling your passion for life. I took away 3 points, and I wrote them down here from your speech, because I like to try to find out what is the point of a person's speech. And I took away the 3 points of love, forgiveness, and compassion. And may we all strive to be like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. There's a requirement today. If you're going to give an evaluation, your name needs to be Brian, if I'm correct. And I believe that our other Brian, the hippie lawyer fireman, will be evaluating Christina.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator Master. You are an honorary Brian for today. Christina, great speech. You are clearly, I don't know that you need us at all. You're clearly a very good speaker. You have a good, you have a good presence at the podium. You made good eye contact all around the table. Your voice is clear, and you use good vocal variety to, make your points. You had good gestures, including the one moment where you were doing the 5 senses: eyes, ears, nose. That was very good. And in general, you seem very relaxed at the podium, which is all very good. It goes, I think, to the fact that you're a teacher. So you're used to speaking to groups, you're used to conveying ideas, and that came across very strongly. The one place that I felt maybe a little more was needed was that we heard a great deal about your job and somewhat less about you. Maybe you're one of those people who you are your job. But just in general, I would have felt a little better. Now you started with a personal story that related why you became a part, why you got into this education, experiential education, and that was a good link. But I might have wanted to hear a little bit more about you. That said, you were clearly well prepared for the speech, and I think that's about what I have. That is what I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brian. I'll hand the meeting back over to Ruth.
Usually Ruth has no problem being muted, so this is a technical difficulty. I'm still learning meeting culture. At this point, I'd ask that we vote for the favorite table topics, and if we could send that to Svetlana. While we're doing that, we will have the timers report from Svetlana with the times only.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. We all enjoyed today's speeches and evaluations. Our first speaker, Linda, spoke for 6 minutes and 32 seconds. Our second speaker, the icebreaker as well, Christina, talked for 5 minutes and 49 seconds. And their evaluators, both Brians, the first Brian Norris, spoke for 2 minutes and 37 seconds, and Brian Hegarty spoke for 2 minutes and 13 seconds. We also listened to some table topics. The first table topic speaker, Christina, I believe, she spoke for 2 minutes and 6 seconds, including her pauses. And Tom, who was also a walker, also spoke for 62 seconds, including his pauses. Thank you.
Avital, I'm going to turn this back to you for any general comments about the meeting, any things that you noticed, any things we could improve for the member experience and the good of the body.
Yeah, absolutely. First, I want to commend the club on getting an excellent internet connection. That's a huge feat. And I know we lost Tom for a moment there, and we kind of realized walking and talking is not always the best thing, but every now and then we're going to run into that, whether it's our connection or someone else's. That's just something we have to be patient with when dealing with technology. I would recommend when something happens in the beginning, like we can't see the person speaking head, that there's a little bit more separation between the person at the podium stopping the meeting for when we're dealing with a challenge online. Because Laura Lee could have just played with that, and then the meeting could have kept running so that the time can keep moving. There is an echo because the mic is so far from the speaker's voice in the room, and so we can look at, and I already looked online, there's even $40 microphones that are wireless that we could test out and get a microphone closer to the person who's speaking. And then Ruth, I thought you did a great job with certain respects because you're very succinct and you're very directive. So it's very easy for people to know where to go when, and you move things very, very quickly and very smoothly. One thing I would recommend is to really get to know how a club does things and in what order they normally do it. Not that it's necessarily bad to change things every now and then, but it does throw us for a bit of a loop. And sometimes there's certain things like knowing the word of the day at the beginning is nice so that we can use those words like cherish throughout the meeting. That's one thing. And it was a little confusing how table topics ended. I feel like the table topics person, can say, okay, now we're done, and I turn it back to Ruth, especially when we're trying to figure out how do we go from in-person to online. And there might have also been some confusion because we normally do table topics after the evaluations. So then we're a little clearer as to how much time we have for table topics, just because we're used to the structure of timing for that. And both of the evaluators, the Bryans, I thought you did a great job. You gave great feedback. One thing that I'd recommend is to think about the feedback being for everyone's benefit, even if you're just talking about one person. And one of the ways that you can do that is by making sure that your eye contact goes to the whole group and not just the person that you are evaluating. Those are the main things that I found. In general, this club does a great job keeping things moving smoothly and working really harmoniously together.
Thank you so much. It's the second time in less than 2 weeks I've taken on Toastmaster with a group and then thought, how did they do things exactly? So that's very good feedback for me. Thank you so much. Do we call for the results of the table topics at this point?
Yep.
Awesome.
I want to clarify one point from Avital. We normally do table topics right after the speeches to give the evaluators some time to work on their evaluations. And so the time that we're giving table topics, that gives the evaluators time to flesh out their evaluation. So in terms of the order we do things, that's usually the way. We did have a winner today, and fortunately I don't have to travel all the way across country to, our winner was in-house. Jaylene?
Jaylene. Yeah.
Okay.
Yay!
That is our table topic. We have our coveted table topics trophy.
Thank you, sir. Table topic.
You can take that home for a week.
Excellent.
If ever somebody online wins it, we'll just have to pretend like you get it. We'll deal with that.
Hey, can I ask a quick question? Anybody oppose that? Ruth, as you were talking, it made me think of something that I discovered. So I'm a new member, and I was going through some of the materials, helping to organize a few things, and I found this great new member packet. And in it is the typical agenda for the meeting. And I wonder.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Are we receiving some kind of online?
No, we should scan that.
I sent them the one that Lee sent me.
Okay.
That was a Word document before it was printed.
Okay.
The-
Okay.
They should have it.
Yeah. Because
So that might be in your email.
yeah. That would
Okay. Awesome. Well, it's 9:47, which means we have a little bit of time. I want to turn it over to the president of the club to touch on any business matters or anything having to do with the princesses or
Okay.
those kind of things.
May I make a comment first?
Thank you for a great meeting. That was very nice. It's always interesting to be able to learn, and this is what I think is great about the club, is that we have to learn how to move between the online members and our in-house members and how we flow, because this is the future. I mean, it really is the future, running meetings and having international meetings or online meetings. I have a fingers going up. You have a.
Well, I was wondering how our internet went for our online people.
So great question. How was it received on your side?
It was much better this time. This is one of the first times that I feel like we haven't, at least myself, hasn't felt like I've missed something because
right.
of the internet. So thank you so much.
Definitely, much better. Yes, much better. One of the previous times, when we were speaking, we were talking online, and even we could hear each other online, but you could not hear us at all. I felt like we were ghosts. That was so weird. But today, big difference. It was amazing. It was much better. Thank you.
Great. Yes. Oh, yeah. No, nice job. We, as a group, we figured it all out. I think we're getting much better. I think we need to get an email out to the rest of the group so that way the folks like Julia and some other folks that are in London and things that have dropped off, so that we can get them back into our meetings so that they know that we have a much more robust reception on our side. Tom, the only time that I felt like we had any challenges is maybe when you were walking around. So that might be a good lesson learned, that we don't. Tom just moved. Oh, kid, Tom's over here now. I was looking here and I'll tell you, hey, Tom, just come along.
I had also let people know at the beginning of the meeting that I might not be able to participate in table topics, but I thought I'd give it a try because I thought I'd have a technology problem. So maybe if there's a note that someone shares at the start of the meeting, just make sure that gets to for the table topics master.
Perfect. That's good to know. So that's good. All right. Again, if you can go to the online document to sign up, if you're here in in-house and you want to sign up real quick, Laura Lee at the end of the meeting can go in and get you signed up, and then we'll get that back to Diane so that she knows what's going on. I think that's everything I have. So I'm gonna go like this and Avital, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
There we go. Oh, we have a question. We can't.
Competent leader. Too bad. On competent leader credit or
Okay.
roles that people did online.
Okay, so the question is what?
How do we get the people credit
Okay.
for doing it online?
So if they're doing their competent leadership.
Leader.
Okay.
But they are currently.
So if you're online and you have your booklet to get filled out so that you're doing your role of like Toastmaster and timer, we have a Toastmaster and a timer at this time. If you do you have a physical book? Because you don't have it.
It's the competent leader.
Okay, so it's the competent leader on the physical book side. If you want, I guess the easiest way would be to. We can scan it. I was going to say we have the book. Yeah, so we can scan the page. If you want to scan the page and email it, send it to me. We'll get it filled out and then scan it back to you. Okay.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was a set procedure, so I wanted to. That's kind of what I've been doing, and it's been working well. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't running afoul of any.
Oh, that's perfect. Go ahead and scan it, and then I'll email it to me. I'll get it signed and sent back to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Same thing, because you did a timer today. And if you need to get that for your competent leadership, you can scan that and email it to me, then we'll get it signed and sent back. Okay?
Thank you.
No, great question. Thank you. All right, with that, we are for sure done now. So, thank you.
So one comment. In the tax booklet that he has, for doing the Toastmaster thing was the icebreaker speech. It actually, or in the beginning of the book, it actually says put it on your card.
Oh, it does?
Yes, so that's why I did it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that,
Yeah.
you might suggest to.
And I just,
I wonder if that's, I wonder if that's
the
something that's not a new
icebreaker, the pathways that I watched and everything,